All right. So let's talk about your center of influence and past clients. This is for a couple of reasons. FSBOs and expired, moving buyers to do something now for the end of the year. There's a lot going on with the business between now and the end of the year. The one thing that I want to share with you is these conversations that you're going to need to have with your center of influence. Okay, really, really important that we start to have this on a regular basis and how to have them. And notice how some people never get off the phone when you're trying to do your calls. So I want to go over some strategy here, because we have to call our database. I don't care if you call them a month ago, 2 months ago. It's time right now to get back with them and have a conversation. We've got to dig deeper into their network of people for leads. So let's talk about a couple strategies that we need with our database. Okay, basically what we're talking about is our database. A couple of things that I want to bring up that you already know. This is center of influence and past clients. Center of influence and past clients. If you don't have a lot of past clients, then we're building that database up. A great time to catch up on your database right now. Okay, now the goal is, right, we know that to really make our database work, we want to have a 10% return from our database. There are teams that I've coached that had a 20-some% return because they're constantly working at it. And your teams that have been around long enough have a high database return. But we want to have a 10%. So in other words, if you have 250 names, that will equal to 25 possible leads coming out of the database. So you need to know, as you're doing your end of the year review, we want to see what sources gave you the most return, but also how much did you get from your database? How much did you get from your database? And that's the goal. And maybe just 5%. Maybe you got 20%, which is great. But the goal minimum is that we get a 10% return. If you got 1,000 names, that's 100 leads that we should get out of it. If it's 500, it's 50. We need to build that up. That is the foundation to your business. No different than when I was selling of all things dental franchises when I was in my 20s, that when a dentist sells his practice, the value of his practice is based on his patient base, which is his database, and what's his recurring income on that number. So what we want to do is to determine that. And let's just say it's very low right now. What is your goal for next year? How do we build that database up? Okay, so think about that. So we want to get a 10% return from our database. A couple things that when you're making the calls to your people, you could mention the fact that you're going to be doing an equity review, or whatever you want to call them, and the equity review is, hey guys, first of all, I want to just say, hope you're having a great holidays and things are going well. I want to continue keeping you up to date with the market. We see a lot of changes going on right now, and I want to keep you up to date with your equity as it increases. So every 6 months, I'm going to do an equity review for you. Okay, a buyer agent could easily do that with a buyer that's in the house and offer them a service that makes you look completely different than the competition out there, as I said last week. So the equity review, and you're going to need to get prepared for that. And what kind of format do you want to do that with? I mean, you could email it. It could be something that's mailed out. But the other thing is that who else do they know that would be interested in having this type of analysis? Remember that your more analytical people want to see graphs. Okay, your more analytical people want to see some beautiful charts and graphs. Okay, so understand who you're sending this information to. One of the questions about this equity review, and I think what we should do is come up with a series of questions, maybe no more than 5. Like one of the questions would be, what are your plans with your equity as it grows? How much would you like to see your equity grow? Are you planning on buying investment property? Are you planning to move up as far as your square footage in the future? And just understand that we want to be in their life more. It's going to be much easier next year to talk to them if we prep ourselves right in the beginning. Also, if you have any questions, let me know. So that's your equity review. Let's go over here. Okay. Stop. There we go. Okay. Now, we need to have captivating conversations this time of the year. Captivating conversations. And so the conversations for you it has to be memorable. And I don't mean it's got to be an unbelievable experience that they've ever had in their life. What I'm saying to you, these conversations have to be pointed. They can't just be conversations. Hi, how are you? Good. Having a great. Okay, bye. See ya. They're there for a reason. We're establishing ourselves as in our brand and giving them brand value in our conversation. So they have to be captivating. And I want to go over from a book I was reading called The Art of Captivating Conversations. A couple of things that I pulled out of. There's a lot to be said about this. But a lot of times when we take over a conversation, it's what they call a narcissistic conversation. So you want to avoid having a narcissistic conversation. And just to let's get your guys' view on this. What do you think a narcissistic conversation is? Anybody? What do you think a narcissistic? What is it?
All about you.
Thank you. We're talking. Thank you, Tom. All about you.
90-10.
What's that?
90-10, 90%.
Yeah. And
10%.
Joe remembers this. It becomes a monologue and not a dialogue also. So we want to make sure that we're not a narcissistic in our conversations.